YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back. Heading into NFL Week 4, I got score predictions for every single game. Every single Wednesday this video goes up. Tuesday content for Week 4 already up, which includes power rankings, weekly picks with the other members of the GOAT House. If you're looking for more perspectives on games, I'd recommend you check that out. All kinds of content here, more to come. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Make sure you follow our Twitter. It's on your screen. There's a link in the comments as well. Constant NFL updates during games, roster moves, fan-voted picks on there, players of the week you guys vote for on there, and then fan Picks League is on there. That's how you join that to keep involved here. So check it out. Also, check out the BetQL app if you want to improve your sports book. There's links all over your screen. There's also a bunch of info and links in the description of this video. Use code GOAT for 25% off. There's a special offer for BetMGM there, $200, whether you win or lose. So check that out. That's brand new, so pretty cool. But they have everything you need. They basically tell you who you should be betting on. They order their bets by stars as a customized dashboard, but they have 5-star bets. They also show who the professionals are backing as well. And this is money line picks, against the spread picks, first half, second half, over-unders, everything, every sport. It's very cool. Check it out. You won't regret it. Again, there's an App Store, Google Play, and there's a website. So more info and links in the description of this video, so go ahead and check that out. Yeah, here's our Twitter. That's how you join the Picks League right here, and there's Richard Sherman sign and a lot of roster news. We got you covered on our Twitter, so check it out. So the Thursday game is the Jags and the Bengals. Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow should be pretty interesting. The Bengals are favored by a whopping 7.5. A little surprised by that. They're playing good football, though. Jaguars played a little better last week. You know, they could have won that game against the Cardinals, so maybe they're starting to figure things out. Just a couple costly mistakes they got to eliminate. I like the Bengals at home on Thursday Night Football, though. The Bengals are playing pretty solid defensively. So I do think that could be the difference. I do think Joe Burrow could have a successful day in the air against this Jaguars defense. C.J. Henderson gone. They still got some young guys as capable of stepping up here, but I think both sides of the ball. The Bengals get the job done here. I think the Jaguars could probably keep up, though, a little bit here. I think Trevor Lawrence, you could see he's showing those glimpses of, why he was the first overall pick. So I still think we're going to start to see a little more and more of that. So, I think the Bengals will control most of this game, with the Jaguars to kind of keep in there a little bit. So, but again, Bengals defense playing very well. Let's see if they continue that. Again, Joe Burrow, I think in the passing game, I think we'll have some success. Washington and Falcons here. I think kind of one of those toss-up games. You see Washington here by 1.5. I went with Washington in this game, and it's a toss-up game. The Falcons, maybe they got things going last week. They beat the Giants. Both teams just recently played the Giants. They're going to be kind of going off that game film from those games there. So whoever has the best game plan will win, you could say. I'm thinking Washington pass rush, fingers crossed maybe. They finally get going. The defense in general has been extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. Pass rush, if the pass rush doesn't get going in this game, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. Something's definitely wrong, though, because the Falcons' pass protection, offensive line, they're struggling. Matt Ryan, capable of throwing some interceptions under pressure. Yeah, the problem is Heineke, too. Heineke does turn the ball over a bit. I still, even though they're struggling, I still like Washington's defense a little better than Atlanta's in this one. I think that'll be the difference, and they get the pass rush going. So I got them winning a 23-20 battle. Mainly, I think a lot of clock going to come off. Mainly, defensive game, low scoring. Who's going to win the turnover battle? Probably be close. There will be turnovers in this game. It's probably going to be close here. So went Washington. It's definitely one I think could go either way. Texans and Bills, not one I don't think could go either way. The Bills are playing Bills football right now. Week 1 was weird. Last 2 weeks, especially last week against Washington, who we just talked about, they played out of their minds. Both sides of the ball. That's what I like about the Bills right now. They feel like one of the more balanced teams in football, maybe the most balanced team in football. And it's not just balanced. They're pretty damn good on both sides of the ball right now, so I do like that. You rarely see that 16.5 spread. There's a reason it's there. The Texans would be pretty sneaky and pretty decent if they were healthy, including Tyrod Taylor, but they're not right now. So Davis Mills, against this tough Bills defense, looking like one of the better defenses in football right now, I don't really see them scoring much. I don't see them scoring much. First two games, I guess the Steelers definitely did. The Dolphins a little bit. Kind of gave Josh Allen some problems. I don't think that'll be the case here, but that's my case for the Texans possibly having a shot. Maybe they throw them off, see something that the other teams did, and they're able to make this. They're able to match the Bills, make it a defensive game, and kind of get lucky in there somewhere. But I just don't see it happen. I think the Bills are rolling right now. They got too much on both sides of the ball. I got them winning by 21 points. It's just. And why the line's so high is just because you just don't trust the Texans to score. I mean, they couldn't really, and the Panthers' defense is pretty solid, but, I think we would all be shocked if they got over 17. I mean, that's kind of where the max is at. For them, I think we'd all be shocked. So, yeah, Bills got a very good shot at home in this one. Lions, Bears, we don't even know who's starting at quarterback for the Bears. I don't think we're going to know until, so that's what makes this tough. I don't think we're going to know until Saturday or Sunday, really. Which is pretty wild. They're kind of getting out there that, maybe even Nick Foles can start. I think that's to kind of throw the Lions off a little bit, maybe. Perhaps it'd be pretty wild if they threw Nick Foles out there. But either way, I'm picking the Bears. It's going to be a tight game. You see, they're favored by 3. I'm surprised they're favored by 3, actually, but I thought it would be close to even. But I do have them winning by 3 at the same time here. I think they're home, and I think because of their defense. I think their defense makes the difference here. The Lions, they had some problems with the Ravens' defense. I think the Bears present a little better defense here, and I think Goff hasn't really been pressured a whole lot so far. He hasn't been, faced the best pass rush. So it's really this game. You're going to say it's on the Bears, moving the damn ball more than 50 yards it was last week, and that's true. But I look at the Bears' pass rush. There's sometimes, throughout the last year or so where they just surprisingly disappeared. And you're like, what happened? That cannot be this game. Actually, Taylor Decker could be back. Just thought of that. Taylor Decker could be back, which actually could use a great left tackle, could throw some things off. Do they put Penei Sewell at right tackle? Is that going to mess things up for the Lions? Because the offensive line's been playing great. So something to monitor there, because Decker was on the IR missing the first 3 games. It's week 4. It was at least, though. So we'll see if he's back this week. It's still only Wednesday. So that's something interesting because if that makes a big change, and that could help assist the Bears getting pass rush here. So I think the Bears win with defense. I think Montgomery gets going a little bit here, but if the Lions find some success on offense, I don't know if the Bears can keep up. I don't see them scoring more, that many more than, in the lower 20s here. But I think they get the job done. Another thing too, that they were Justin Fields was at quarterback last week. We'll see who's at quarterback this week, but he was pressured a ton last week against the Browns. The Browns have the best pass rush win rate in football right now, very best. Part of that's probably from the Bears game. A lot of that, actually. But the Lions are dead last in the NFL in pass rush win rate. So it really looks like a totally different matchup for the Bears. So that's something positive here for their offense. But maybe the Bears are the key to get the pass rush win rate going for the Lions here. So, I'm going to go Bears by 3. Defensive game for the most part here. Curious to see who the Bears start at quarterback. Panthers, Cowboys, I think it will be a good game, close game here. I do think I'm going to pick the Cowboys 26-24 here. Kind of a random score, but they're favored by 5. I love the way both teams are playing right now. The Cowboys are looking electric. Both sides of the ball, which is surprising. Defend how good they are playing defensively, even though they have some injuries. But, I think where they beat the Eagles offensively is I feel like they were too fast, they were just too fast. They had a variety of different plays, and the Eagles just didn't know really what to do. I do like the way the Panthers' defense looks in those categories. So I think that's kind of the defense that is kind of built not to shut it down, but to slow it down a little bit. So I think the Cowboys will have success moving the ball. I think red zone. I think the Panthers' defense could force some field goals, some of those trips. Is kind of what I'm predicting. But I think the Cowboys will have enough yards gained, plenty enough here. And a missing J.C. Horn could be costly. But the Panthers' defense is playing so well, and the Cowboys are missing guys like DeMarcus Lawrence as well. But then you look at the offensive side of things, And Cowboys missing Gallup, but Panthers are missing Christian McCaffrey, so that might be tough. The Eagles made it easy for the Cowboys. I thought the Eagles could have ran the ball effectively on the Cowboys. They didn't run the ball, so the Cowboys all right, we just got to play against the pass here. Now, without McCaffrey, I know Hubbard could play, but it's going to be something similar here. Got to worry about DJ Moore, really. I think the key for the Panthers is small ball. Just quick, not even three-step drops, just get the ball out. Just real quick underneath. I think that'll be the key for the Panthers offense. Again, I do think they have the defense to match up with the Cowboys, but I still don't think they stop them. It's a big game for Darnold. Cowboys can create some turnovers here. So, and I think they do. I'm going to take the Cowboys in a pretty close one here. Pretty close one. I do like that the Cowboys are at home as well. That definitely helps. Next up, we got Colts Dolphins. I went with the underdog here. I went with the Colts. We had a pretty good split in our picks video. I'm feeling the Colts, though, because I can argue both teams. There's a big reason to argue both teams. And my reason for the Colts, I think they'll have success on the ground. I think they'll run the ball extremely well in this game. Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, and these guys really get going. The Dolphins, solid defense, but they struggle to stop the run. So that'll be the key for the Colts. But if the Dolphins win, I think it'll be because they created turnovers. They put the Colts in a position to make them pass downfield, and you can get after Wentz, make him take some sacks. He can fumble the ball, he can throw interceptions, and the Dolphins are a playmaking defense. So if the Colts win, I'm telling you right, I'm pretty confident on my statement here. I said this in the picks video. If the Colts win, it's because they took care of the ball and ran the ball extremely effectively. And the Dolphins, if the Dolphins win, it's because they were playmakers out there. They created turnovers, and that shifted the game. So those would be the big reasons why each of these teams could win. It is in Miami. That definitely helps the Dolphins. I'm just really feeling the Colts get the run game going. I really feel that they can do that. And they're due. They're definitely due for a win, but it should be a pretty good game. Jacoby Brissett versus former team. Brissett kind of got going a bit at the end of that Raiders game, so that's good as well. Colts do know what Brissett's about, though, but I guess he could know what the Colts are about, so it should be interesting. I got the Colts in a defensive game here. Next game, we got Browns-Vikings. I took the Vikings. I have a high-scoring game. It's a tough one. It's going to be a fun game to watch here. Two high-powered rushing offenses, but that are very underrated, very good at passing the ball right now as well. Vikings at home. I kind of forgot how much of a home field advantage the Vikings have. That place is crazy. It kind of showed up against the Seattle Seahawks. Doesn't mean they're going to win every home game. We've seen them do that in the past, though, when they actually had the crowd. If it was in Cleveland, I'd be picking the Browns. It's pretty much the home field advantage in this game wins. I do really like the way the Vikings offense is playing. Not specifically on how many points. That's great too, but they feel different. Stefanski, head coach, was the offense coordinator for the Vikings, and then he had this similar system to what obviously the Vikings run, and the Vikings have changed it up a little bit. They're using more receivers. They're passing the ball a bit more. The Browns do seem a little different too. I haven't been thrilled with Stefanski's play calling this year on crucial, third down, fourth down, but he does know Zimmer's defense, so that could come in handy. But yeah, the Vikings also practice against that offense for the last several years, the same offense basically. So that's why it's an interesting matchup. Really, home field advantage is the difference. I don't know what to make of the Browns defense right now, because last week they were dominant, absolutely elite. It was the Bears. The week before it was like, it still feels kind of bland. They're not really getting pressure in unique ways. They started blitzing last week. They definitely started, maybe they're more like what they were in week 3. But now you're going to play a little better offense here. So it's really, in a way, it's really a true test here. So, it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be the play calling on third down is going to have to be better for the Browns. Both these teams want to control the clock. They want to hold the ball for as long as possible. We see them do it all the time. The Vikings been doing it with passing, though. That's what I'm liking and I'm surprised about. They've been controlling games and running clock with passing the ball. They did with the Seahawks last week. Seahawks only had the ball for 7 minutes in the second half. Browns do the same thing. How much they held the ball against the Texans in the fourth quarter. Texans had some success offensively against the Browns, though. So I'm like, what Browns defense going to show up? Again, this game's so close, so good, so almost evenly matched that I was picking the home team in this one. That's literally what I was going with. So going with the Vikings here. Giants and Saints, I think a low-scoring defensive game. I'm kind of predicting Sean Payton's game plan mentality in this game with this one. So it's kind of a deep prediction. I'm thinking he's gonna. I think he's going to take it easy. I think he's going to let I think both teams will do this. I think both teams will try to have their defense win the game. And kind of turn their offenses into game managers a bit. Which the Saints, it's a little more bold saying that because you really never know. They can throw anything at you here. I could see them having success offensively, high power, pass the ball downfield. I can see a scenario where they do that and they score 30 points. I could actually see that. I could see that scenario, but they turn the ball over too much. I think they're very confident in their defense, the defense to create turnovers against Daniel Jones and this offensive line. I think they're confident that the Giants' offense doesn't have enough to keep up with them, so they'll make sure Jameis Winston is kept under control. So I think this will be a defensive game, but I'm definitely picking the Saints. Closer than the spread, but I'm very confident with the Saints in this one. Giants are due. They're due for a win. They've been close 2 weeks in a row, but Saints dominant week 1, sloppy week 2, dominant week 3. For their sake, hopefully not in every other type thing. There's really no logic behind that. It's mainly Jameis, taking care of the ball and the defense continuing to play the way they do, and I think they will. So I'm gonna take the Saints here. Giants, bit of a mess. It's a must win. Every game from now on is pretty much a must win for them. Saints, low scoring game. Curious to see how they handle Jameis in that game. I think both teams just try to win on defense. Titans and Jets. I got the Titans taking care of business here. 7.5. I'm surprised that. I mean, that's technically high, but I'm surprised that it was not higher. Jets got to win sometime. Could it be now? I think the Titans are kind of just getting going now. Ever since the second half of that Seahawks game there, I just don't see. I think the Titans have success on offense. The Titans' defense seems a lot better than last year. Mainly because they're getting they actually get pressure. They're getting a lot of pressure. Actually, they're towards the top of the NFL, top 8, I believe, which is weird because we're used to seeing the Titans very bottom there. And Zach Wilson's been pressured a lot. He's been struggling under pressure. There's really nothing that points towards the Jets. Titans surprised us with a Bengals loss last year. Maybe it's one of those. I don't know. I don't see it. I like Titans on both sides of the ball. I think they can win by running the ball, passing the ball. I think they'll mainly stick on the run. Julio and A.J. Brown were a little shaken up after last week, so maybe take it easy on those guys a bit. So they'll probably just run the ball, run the clock, and see what their defense has got in terms of the pass rush. Very confident with the Titans in this one, even though they're away. Chiefs and Eagles. I got the Chiefs 30-21. Not thrilled with the Eagles. I don't really trust their play calling, their coaching in general. I don't really trust Hurts under pressure. Go back to the play calling and decision-making there. Just running the ball to Miles Sanders twice last week was pretty brutal. So I don't really trust them a lot in those categories. I don't really trust them against fast offenses, and here you have one. So I think the Chiefs will score, in that 30-point range there. But even though I'm not trusting the Eagles on the offensive side of things, I do think they can score right there. I think, I don't think they're going to go out there and run Miles Sanders twice again. I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to run Hurts. They're going to run Sanders. And, they might be playing from behind, though, so they have to throw. I think Hurts will be kind of hit or miss. They'll score a decent amount here, 21, but I got the Chiefs taking care of business. I'm pretty confident the Chiefs will be, the Eagles are going to have to be playing keep up with the Chiefs in this game, even though it's somewhat close to having a 9-point game. I think they're becoming playing keep up here. So the Chiefs, I don't see them dropping 3 straight here. Cardinals Rams should be a great one. Battle for the tops, not only the top spot of the NFC West, maybe the top spot in the NFL. At least my power rankings, Rams are number 1, Cardinals are 5, but resume is big for me. So if the Cardinals beat the Rams, they very well could be 1. I like the Rams though, 30-24. I picked the Rams beat the Bucs last week. If you remember, a big reason for that was the Buccaneers are very successful throwing the ball downfield, but I said the Rams take that away. They may give up some underneath, but they take away your big time play. And the Cardinals have that. They're the same mentality there. They have that deep ball game. So the Rams could take that away. It is a little different though, so that's a little scary thing here. It's not, Tom Brady wasn't a guy that's just running away from pressure, scrambling around forever and throwing on the run outside the pocket. That's Kyler Murray, so that could be a little bit different. But Kyler Murray has been he's been getting the receivers open by doing that. I think the athletic pass rush of the Rams cuts that time down a little bit. That time that he buys, I think they cut it down a little bit, not an insane amount. And their secondary, again, very good in deep coverage. They will also cut down the time till separation as well. So those two things together, I think, helped a little bit. Kyler Murray is going to have to hit some tight window throws. He's been creating the open receivers. In this game, he's going to have to hit significantly more tight window throws, and he's capable. So we'll see if he can do it. I think the key for the Cardinals is just run Kyler Murray. I think drop him back, make him think maybe you're passing. Try to catch them in man coverage. So maybe the defensive backs are turned towards Kyler Murray and send them loose. I really think that will be the Cardinals won. Exactly what I just said. I think that's why I think. So we'll see. It's very possible there. Offensive game here. I think. Looking at the defenses, really, which defense can make that extra play? I trust the Rams defense a bit more for the reasons I explained. I also think they get their hands on the ball once or twice, create a turnover. Rams are looking real tough right now, so are the Cardinals. But I like the Rams in this one. They're home in this game. Obviously, they'll see each other again here. Seahawks and 49ers. I like the 49ers. I think a high-scoring game. 33-28 is what I came up with here. And the 49ers are favored by 2.5. That's a tough one. It's hard to see the Seahawks losing 3 straight. But I'm predicting it to happen here. They're a little messy right now. Offensively, they look strong early, and they keep kind of shutting down in the second half. There's nothing unique about that offense right now. There's really nothing going. And then in the second half they shut down. Defensively, it's a mess right now. It's a mess. They don't really have the pass rush is hit or miss. They rely on the blitz, which the blitz can work. That if the Seahawks win, I think it's because the blitz really affected Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's a very realistic scenario because the Seahawks are a pretty good blitzing team. There's so many of these quarterbacks these days, or even coordinators that are figuring out when they're blitzing and really good adjusting to it. We saw it last couple weeks. So the offenses beat the Seahawks blitz is what was the difference. But I think Shanahan's going to find ways to get the ball out. In those obvious blitz situations, third down, like he always does. Get the ball out quick. Make sure Garoppolo gets it out quick. Draw up some plays. They're very dominant running the ball, especially when it's unexpected. End arounds, everything. They're going to get the ball to Kittle underneath. And they're very successful on third downs. The Seahawks defense is atrocious right now on third downs. So I look at the third down, Seahawks defense versus 49ers offense. I think that's the difference in this game. I think the 49ers can have success running and passing in this game. Not thrilled with the 49ers defense right now, but I definitely trusted a lot more in Seattle's. But I think it should be a high-scoring game. I think it should be kind of back and forth here for this game. We'll see what the 49ers running back situation is. Curious about that because they were beat up last week. If they can get some guys healthier, then I feel a little more confident with them. Next, tight game here. Kind of got a random score. I always good for a 1-point game here. I got one here, 23-22. I have the Ravens. I'm thinking a good amount of field goals in this game. We got some good defenses here. We got some really good defenses. Broncos seem like a great defense right now. Ravens, I'd be comfortable saying they're a great defense if they're fully healthy. Mainly missing Peters there. They're going to get some guys back this week, but still a very good defense. But as good as these defenses are, I think both offenses will have success, gaining yards, getting down the field a little bit, more than you would think, more than the score shows as well, actually. I'm just thinking the red zone defenses step up, possibly create some turnovers in the red zone, but force teams to field goals. That's kind of how I'm feeling this game. Broncos, very good run defense, but Lamar's a different animal to try to stop. It's totally different. So I think you'll kind of get going on the field. The Broncos, Vic Fangio, they might have some adjustment when they get in the red zone. I think, the Broncos, the Ravens, people have been able to move the ball on them a little bit. I think they clutch up in the red zone. So I think that's the story of both teams here. Broncos being at home helps. I think the Ravens, the way they're built this year, I think they better match up against more of the offensive teams like the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs, people probably still consider, even though they're not right now, they consider them better than the Broncos. It's a totally different type of matchup. I think the Broncos slow them down enough. I think get enough going on offense. I would like for them to dump the ball off to their running backs, slip screen underneath. That would be key, I think, for the Broncos. It is tough that Judy's out and Hamler's out, and the Ravens are getting some receivers back. That could be key there. But, yeah, a couple in a row, emotional wins for the Ravens. It's hard to keep winning off that, but they're doing it right now. See if they go 3 in a row. But I like the Broncos. If this was in Baltimore, I'd definitely have a much harder time, but it's still pretty tough. And I was surprised. I had the Broncos winning by 1, and they're favored by 1. I always predict the score and then go look at the spread, and sometimes it just happens here. And I was surprised by this. So I thought the Ravens would be favored maybe by 1 or 2. So that's a toss-up game. If you're putting money on games, it's probably one I wouldn't touch, to be honest. Steelers and Packers. And I'm surprised the Packers aren't favored by more. I thought I was going to be predicting it to be a lower scoring game or closer game than maybe Vegas thought. But yeah, it's a must-win game for the Steelers. It's a tough must-win game because the Green Bay Packers are very good. They're at home here. I'm thinking TJ Watt will be back. If he's not, I think the Packers have more success on offense in this game. Because I do think, the pressure, the Steelers defense is still very good, especially with TJ Watt. They could slow them down a little bit here. Not a whole lot. They still score 27. Steelers offense, I think it's going, again, a little bit. 20 isn't enough in a game like this, but they get going a little more than they have been. It's weird, though, because the Packers, they don't really fully trust their pass rush. Big Ben should have more time, but their pass rush got all over Jimmy Garoppolo last week. So I don't know what pass rush, honestly, of the Packers to expect. If they got Zadarius Smith, I'm very confident with it, But it's Steelers, I think, will be trying to play keep up in this game. They'll probably stick close. They could be down 2 scores, then a score like this, coming back and forth there. But if there's random times, they're pretty rare. I guess we saw it in week 1 this year, but even over the last, several years, there's random times where defenses just really throw off the Packers. It's weird to see. It's random. I think the Bucks during the year last year as well. And it just changes the whole game, and the opposing team just gets more offense going than you would expect. So could that be the game? It really starts with the Steelers' defense here. They really could they throw off Rodgers? I think it's possible. I'm just not predicting it. Packers home here. I really worry about the Steelers' offense there. But 27-20 Packers. Sunday night, I got a 28-20. And again, I thought I was going to have it closer than the line was going to have it. The line's only at 6.5, which is interesting. I got the Bucs winning 28-20. It's a totally different matchup. People can look at the Patriots. They got their ass beat by the Saints, so they're definitely going to get their ass beat by the Buccaneers. It's a totally different matchup here. You can move the ball in the Buccaneers defense right now, especially because it's beat up. You can move the ball. Maybe it's the week they kind of unleash Mac Jones, too. They kind of been limiting him downfield, and he could do it. So maybe they get things going here. And then the Patriots play some pretty good pass defense. I think if there's a weakness, it's run defense, and Buccaneers don't run the ball too well. So actually, the matchups are starting to point towards the Patriots, where things are positives for them looking at, both sides here. But I think the Buccaneers just still got too much. The question is, can the Patriots keep up with the Bucs? Yes, the Patriots secondary could maybe pick off Brady. They can create a turnover. But the Buccaneers are still going to move the ball, and they're still going to score points. Can the Patriots keep up? I think they'll have some offense here, but not enough in this one. And the problem would be if the Buccaneers got up right away. If they got up like 10-0, 14-0 right away, then it's going to be an ass beating. It's kind of one of those games. The Patriots kind of got to get on the board first. They got to stick close, and then they have a shot to win. So that'll be the key in that game. And then Monday night, which is a great one, Raiders versus Chargers. I got a 3-point win for the Chargers. Chargers favored by 3.5. It's gonna be a great game. Undefeated Raiders, 1-loss Chargers. Chargers fresh off beating the Chiefs. The key for the Raiders is run the ball. If Josh Jacobs is playing. I think they control they can. I can see a totally different type of game than what I'm predicting here, really. If they just pound the football and they control the clock, keep it a low-scoring game, never allow Herbert to kind of get in his groove, I do think that's a possibility because teams have been able to run on the Chargers, but I don't really see them doing that. They would be tempted to go to the pass game, which I'm not saying they won't have success in the pass game. I have them scoring 27 points, But I think once you kind of get in that shootout, I do like the Chargers a little more at home here. I think the Chargers are kind of getting their groove. There's still some sloppiness in the red zone, but it's just like it's mistakes that they can very easily fix. And I think they're finally about to hit kind of their stride to get going. And they're very close to, just getting an insane amount of points every single week. And their defense got some playmakers back there. This one was in Vegas. I'd probably pick the Raiders. But yeah, I see a lot of Raiders fans saying this is basically a home game for the Raiders. Because there's going to be more fans there. We'll see. That does tend to happen, but we'll see. It's still a home game for the Chargers in my mind, but it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game here. I think, again, the key might be for the Raiders is, specifically start with the ball and just pound the football. If the Chargers get the ball first and score a touchdown right away, it kind of just changes. It could potentially change up that game plan if that is the game plan for the Raiders. I like both pass rushes too. So we'll see if they make a factor here, impact here. Chargers, Your Raiders are going to run mainly cover 3. Chargers are mainly a cover 4 team, but last week against the Chiefs, they threw out man coverage, which was completely random and surprising. So maybe, it's kind of up in the air, what they're going to run here. But again, Chargers at home, I think it ends up being the Raiders could make it a running, running clock and running game. But I think it ends up being a high-powered passing attack back and forth. I'm going to take Herbert, even though Carr's playing like an MVP. I'm going to take Herbert at home here. So receivers seem to be playing a little better too. First couple weeks, a lot of drops, and Mike Williams is playing out of his mind right now too. So, it's kind of a tough game plan, the Chargers, because they stretch the field so much. We mainly got to worry about the deep ball, but what if they get the ball underneath the Eckler, Keenan Allen across the middle of the field, coming across the middle of the field, and then we got to focus on Keenan Allen. But now Mike Williams, is that the main guy we got to focus on? Like, what's happening right now? Like, it's a tough game plan. I think it's harder to game plan for the Chargers. Another reason why I'm picking them. It's a tough team to game plan for, which could be, they got to stay consistent, but that could become could be coming up big when we get to the playoffs. Actually, we're talking about playoffs already. That'll do it for the score predictions of Week 4. We're back every single Wednesday with these, and we got weekly picks with the boys on Tuesday night. So Week 4 is already up. Power rankings already up. A lot more content on the way. More to come. Eventually, have some player rankings, mid-season playoff predictions. Rookie power rankings are actually right around the corner. Near future. Did those last year. People are looking for them. Follow the Twitter for updates. That'll be huge. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Check out the BetQL app. Those are our sponsors. Appreciate them very much. Special MGM offer, $200 free. There's a link and more info, multiple links and more info in the description. Check it out, BetQL. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.